Hey,
Okay.
That hashtag show.
that's right. Beautiful. Get you to record a.
You
Get
should have
intro for us.
recorded that. You could have had that.
Hey everyone, I'm Jessica with that hashtag show, and I'm here today with Michael Smiley to talk about his new film, Bookworm. Now, to kick things off, just tell me a little bit about what drew you to Bookworm in the first place.
Well, I'd worked with Ant Timpson before, and I'd worked with Elijah Wood before on basically a horror film called Come to Daddy. And so Ant got in contact and said, look, we're doing this film. We'd love you to be in it. Would you like to come over to New Zealand? And of course I said yes, because I'd been before New Zealand. I knew what I was letting myself in for. One of the most beautiful parts of the world. As you can see, I'm wearing my punami. And yeah, I love New Zealand. There's something about it that's very spiritual for me. I've had professionally and personally some beautiful experiences over there. So the idea of making a film that was going to show how beautiful it is as a country, but also it not being the opposite of being a horror film, was another bit of excitement for me. I think there's not enough of these films around that you as a family you can go and watch. That most of them now, if you want to go and see a feel good film with your family, it'll tend to be animated. And a lot of money spent on animation and famous people doing the voices, and those are the comfort blankets of cinema, really. But it's rare that you get live action that isn't anything that's horror based or visceral or sexual or whatever. And I'm not against any of that if the story's good, but every now and again it's a sorbet for the brain.
Lovely.
You can have that. Do you like that? It's the
I
sorbet.
like that,
Sorbet for the brain, darling. Sorbet for the brain.
Now, since you did mention that you had worked with Elijah and Ant before on a horror movie, you are now stepping into this world, like you said, that is family friendly, but you do have a little bit of a darkness going on to your character. Tell me about Arnold.
Arnold is a special sort of bloke, and he needs a special sort of woman to walk hand in hand through these troubled waters of life. He's misunderstood. Actually, no, what Arnold is. Arnold's one of those, I'd probably call him a snake oil salesman, a two bob chancer, he's one of those blokes who's lowered his horizons. He doesn't have the intelligence to do a big robbery, so he does little robberies based on taking people into his confidence, or being a confidence trickster rather, and pretending to be good when really has nefarious wants. And so I think he left Ireland under a cloud and found himself in New Zealand. And if you ever go to places like New Zealand, it really is the other side of the world, and you don't get the chance to leave if unless you've got a return ticket, because it takes a lot of money to leave that country. It's very expensive, and so I think he's stuck there, and he's stuck in a relationship that is driven by his partner, and that's part of the rub. There's a frustration between the two of them. It's a bad relationship, getting worse, and the only thing that sort of they've got in common is their want to rob other people of their stuff, and that's where they get their kicks. There's something quite childish about it. You always met, when you were a child, you met those kids who liked stealing just for the sake of stealing, not because they were hungry, not because they wanted what you had. It was just like a magpie. Oh, look, there's a sparkly object. So I don't think he's naturally evil. I just think he's a bit stupid. I think he's a bit low intelligence and not enough entertainment in his life.
One of my favorite scenes is when Arnold pulls out a picture of himself to prove he's a black belt in karate out of his wallet. Do you think that he makes the same claim every time, or is there just a wallet full of different images to support whatever story he's telling?
I think by the state of that photograph, he's done it quite a few times. He sort of reminds me. I'm from Belfast, near Belfast, and there's a there used to be, when I was a kid going up to Belfast, there used to be a man that used to run around the centre of Belfast, and he had a suit on and a shirt and tie and a bunch of flowers. And he'd come running up to you, all breathless, going, "Somebody, I've just been in the pub, and my wife's just about to have a baby, and I need to go up to the hospital, and somebody stole my wallet, and I just need a couple of pounds just to get a taxi." And that's what he would do all the time. So he had this story, and it's a bit like, I know this is, when you meet street people who have got addiction issues, like junkies or whatever, some of them are the best performers I've ever met in my life, because the level of enthusiasm and gusto they bring to every interaction to get you to believe them that all they need is this amount of money to go and do this thing. And they'll say things like, "I just need 47 cents to get enough money to get into a hostel tonight because I've got $5.27 or whatever." So they always use odd numbers, and it's always weird things like, "My fridge broke down," or "I need a new motor from an electric bicycle," or something. It's never, "I need money for a drink." So Arnold's of that. So he, that thing, if I make the lie weird enough, there's a good chance people will believe it. you know.
True.
I don't think he's done that, but I don't think he's got enough imagination to have a plethora, a Rolodex of ideas. I think he's just got a couple. He's probably got 2 or 3, bless him.
That's fair. That's fair. And important lesson for children. Children's movies always full of morals and lessons to learn. If you print out a photo and you lie convincingly enough about that photo, you can make people believe. Now that we know that, what image are you putting in your wallet to create more
What
of
have
a
I
lie?
got in my wallet? I've got my wife's credit card. She doesn't know that. I don't know why I've told you. She's a
Come on, video
multi-millionaire.
evidence being
She's a
recorded.
multi-millionaire with narcolepsy. What can I say?
There you go. Yeah.
No, I don't actually carry a wallet these days. I don't think you need to. I've got my phone
That's fair.
and about 7,000 photographs.
Poor Arnold, what's he going to do when everybody's like, "You have a wallet?" That's
Yeah,
suspicious. What's up with that?
exactly. I know. You just have to give me a cuddle and go for my phone.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, I know you're wrapping up your day. You've been doing a lot of interviews. What do you want to talk about that you haven't been asked yet?
What
Right
a
to you,
question! What, I've never been asked that question.
Yeah.
That's like the laziest. I love that. So, why don't you ask me a question about yourself, Michael? God, I've never been asked. An interviewer's asked me to ask me a question. What was it again?
I
What do
have
you
an
want me to
answer.
say?
Oh, it's just, I think that like when you do a lot of these, you get some of the same thing over and over. And if you're like, "Hey, nobody ever asked me about this weirdly specific thing that they wouldn't know to ask me," I just like to throw it out there.
All right. Well, why don't you ask me about this?
I would love to ask you about that. Please tell me more. You did mention New Zealand.
Yes. Do you know what this is?
I don't.
It's called a pinamu, and it is it's a Maori stone that is given to you as a by people who love you or people within your own tribe. And you don't buy it for yourself. You can't buy it for yourself. You're supposed to. It's to be given to you. So when I went to New Zealand to make Bookworm, I stayed with a friend, Micah, who I hadn't seen for 20 odd years. And Micah and Roz were 2 friends of mine when I was over there performing, and they got this commissioned and told them about he asked him to describe what his character's like, and he made this in the shape of an axe because I'm true and I'll help and get us out of situations as part of my personality. And they presented it to me and got it blessed. And then when I was filming Bookworm, the very first day of production, we all do prayers together. And one of the workers was a Maori called Micah as well. And we were beside a stream that was actually a Maori spiritual stream. So I took it off and asked him to bless it, and we blessed it in the waters. So this is connected to Bookworm as well, but it's connected to my love of New Zealand and the love of people who love me. So that's what that is.
I think that's lovely, and I would have no way of knowing I should ask about that
Well, you
otherwise.
could have said, "What's that crazy thing around your neck?"
Like, that could go either way for me, you know? Gotta be careful out here.
Be careful. Be careful at
Alright,
all
last
times.
one to wrap up your day. Why should everybody go check out Bookworm?
Because I think you should go and see Bookworm because it's a lovely film and it gives an opportunity which you don't get as much for families to go and sit in a dark room together and watch a lovely adventure and watch a relationship build on screen between two human beings who are fantastic actors. You know, Elijah, that he just brings out the best in people when you're working with him. And I think their relationship together comes across on screen, and creates that thing that, as a father myself, there's nothing I'd love more than to be in the countryside with my daughter and seeing how we get on. I love the bonding process that they go through, and it's about growth, and it's about kindness, and it's about love. So there's not much of that around anymore. So we have to help it along as much as we can. So go and see Bookworm and see what it's like to be good humans.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think it absolutely is filling a role that we don't have a lot of films for right now. So
Yeah,
it's great to see.
definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. God bless. See you later, Jessica.